Good evening. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Wanted to do a quick update on the upcoming pattern. Right now, we're in kind of actually a tame pattern. Very small rain chances. We can't rule out some pop ups the next couple of days. Sunday might be our best chance in the next week or so. But there will be daily, very isolated chances of rain. But as a whole, we're in a pretty quiet pattern filled with just your typical summertime warmth. And we maybe got some summertime heat coming. So before I get into the presentation, I wanted to take you to our website, madcoweather.com. And I don't do a good job of really promoting this. So if you go to madcoweather.com, the 7-day forecast is always posted on there before it's posted to any of the social media platforms, usually by 45 minutes to an hour. Um, so you can always get the 7-day forecast, get the text that goes with the 7-day forecast on here. If there are alerts, there's another window that I can add, so there will be alerts if there's severe weather expected, or flooding, or snow, or whatever. If we've got events coming, I'll have some sort of a post written up and posted on here also that'll actually show up before the 7-day forecast. So that's a nice feature when things are going on. Um, you have the live local radar. Unfortunately, it's not interactive other than being able to start and stop the 10 frame loop. But I think I've mentioned before, I got a quote on getting an interactive radar, and it was going to be like $1,200 per month. So at the current pace, I'm barely taking that in per year, and kind of on the pace to take that in a year. And actually, most of that's actually spent covering my costs. So we got a long way to go before I can have an interactive radar on here, but at least there is a radar that you can turn on, have a loop. When there storms getting closer to Madison County, here at home, I will zoom that in to where Madison County is enlarged, where you can see the smaller towns and really see what's passing through Madison County. Then I've not written anything in a while, but I need to get on it. But I'll have different blogs. Some of these blogs will hold up, for a while. Heat island, effects of humidity on the weather, our historical um, climatology, all that. And then our sponsors are over here on the right hand side of the screen. Joy Mitchell, Cincy, independent consultant, um, Anderson Symphony Orchestra, the Madison County Federal Credit Union, and Community Hospital of Anderson. We're very thankful for their sponsorships of this page. And then over on the far right is a Support Us tab, and you can go over and click on that, and it opens up the well, if the internet goes, opens up the support page where you have the options on here to click and do a one-time donation. You can pledge it says $1 to $100 per month. Really, you can do whatever you want, but nobody's probably going to do more than $100 a month. And or you can pledge a yearly amount. Right now, I don't have a pricing structure set up on there, so right now is probably the time to become a subscriber. What you'll end up getting once I get it going, I've not done a good job of getting things set up. I've done some testing, but you'll end up getting the 7-day forecast straight to your email. Any kind of active weather alerts that the page does will go straight to your email. Videos that I'm doing will go straight to your email. Pretty much anything that's going to be done by the page will go straight to your email. And videos, I'll still do some videos and post on the social media once in a while, but as a whole, they're going to become almost exclusively a subscriber thing. Again, I didn't really want to do that, but donations just haven't been what I'd hoped they would be. So, but I'm very thankful for for the people who are subscribers, for those who have donated, and if you're a repeat donator, I treat you just as though you're a subscriber. So, any rate, that's enough of this. I've taken up almost 5 minutes and haven't even gotten to the forecast part yet. So, let's get into what's upcoming. And of course, one of my favorite things to look at is the water vapor loop. This was from a couple of days ago, and So the Aleutian Islands are up in here. I probably see if I can use the drawing tool here. I'll get better at this stuff as I'm kind of learning this stuff on the go. Actually, I just use the laser pointer. Kind of up in here is the area that I generally watch. And a couple of days ago, you could kind of see this ridging that was going on coming right up to the Aleutian Islands. And whatever's happening in the Bering Sea, in theory, will occur in the continental United States 17 to 21 days later. I also watch what happens in East Asia, watch the Southern Oscillation Index, watch the Madden-Julian Index. There are so many things, but yeah, the videos will be long, especially at my video skill level right now. So the Bering Sea is what I'll point out to you guys the most, but I'm really watching a lot of different things. But this kind of points to some ridging, setting up down the road, probably in maybe 3 weeks, not quite 3 weeks. So getting into August, we can probably expect some heat. This was from a couple of days ago. We'll take a look, and here's today, and you see there's still the persistent ridge, but it's kind of retrograded a little bit to the south and southwest of where the other one was. So we do expect the ridging to recede a little bit and our temperatures to come back a little closer to normal as we get into August. But that's actually showing some signs of maybe beginning to build back to the north. So we may have yet another hot spell coming up in August. So might start hot, come back to about normal, maybe a little cooler than normal, and then go back to hot. That's all still a way out, and there are some things going on with the MJO, the MJO, that can affect that. So, but those are things I'm kind of watching right now. So we'll take a look at the forecast models real quick, and not because I really dig the models, but just because, again, they're good for visualization. So we'll take a look at pivotal weather. And let me turn this down a little bit. So this is the GFS. It's a 500 millibar heights. What geopotential height is like we're looking at the 500 millibar. So when this says it's done in decameters, so like right here it's got 588. That means decameters, just you multiply that by 10, is how many meters above the surface that the 500 millibar level is. Above, not above the surface, but above mean sea level. So at any rate, what it's telling you is the higher those numbers are, the higher the 500 millibar level is, which means there's a lot more air underneath. There's going to be higher pressure because of the increase in air. So that tends to calm the pattern down, and it tends to heat it up, especially in the summer. So we'll take a look at what's going on. And what I really want to point out to you, you can kind of see the highest heights as we're going through the weekend are still off to our southwest, other than this little kind of cutoff low down here over Texas. But we're seeing this ridge kind of pop up. And between 588 and 591 is about where our 90-degree line generally occurs, depending on cloud cover and humidity. The more humid it is, it helps both suppress daytime heating and suppress nighttime cooling. So the more humid it is, the more actually kind of stable the temperatures become. But it's hot nonetheless. Our dew points will be high, so it's going to be miserable kind of over the weekend. And then as we go through the weekend, you can kind of see the European is very similar, as you'll see. They kind of keep the height suppressed a little bit to our southwest, so it's kind of questionable. I think we're going to hit 90 degrees on Sunday, but we may not. It kind of just depends. But what we start looking at as we get into the middle of next week, we start seeing this 591 line come all the way up into central Indiana. 594 is getting up. This is next Thursday and Friday. Next in the GFS, you can see this kind of storm that kind of goes off to our upper level low that cuts off to our northeast is being kind of pushed away by the high pressure. And so we kind of get a little bit of a slight dip right here that will be on a kind of a northwest flow where we could pick up some rain next Friday into Saturday. Might be our best chance at widespread rain. Again, that's still a way out, and these things, they've been feast or famine, as you well know. We either get a ton of rain or we don't get any. So we'll have to see how that plays out as that gets closer. But then what I've been noticing, the GFS will go out 16 days. The European only goes out 10. But once we get past next weekend, we get this little dip, and then it really cranks in, and we've got this 594 line now coming all the way up into northern Indiana. So that would put us in the low to mid 90s. If the humidity were lower, it'd actually get hotter, and it just kind of keeps that around. You can see by this point, it's got a 597 decameter height anomaly all the way over. We could be pushing if this happens. I think it might be a little overdone, but if this happens, I mean, we could be pushing upper 90s. This is by August 5th. But there's and it kind of keeps it a little bit zonal, but I think we're going to have to watch this kind of trough up here. I think based on the Bering Sea, it may have a chance of dipping in a little closer, and we might find this weakness between the high pressures. So that's getting into early August. Like I said, just a couple of little brief shots where we might have a rain chance, a quick cool down to about average, and then right back to the heat. And we'll take a look here at the European. And the European, what we're going to see is going to be very, very similar. The European only goes out 10 days. It's a little more aggressive with the heights over the weekend. I kind of agree with the European on this. But even at that, it's still keeping the core of the high pressure suppressed back here to the southwest. Got the cutoff low back there. It's going to help feed some monsoonal flow into the desert southwest. Then we get into the mid next week, and just like with the GFS, now we're getting to Wednesday, and this 591 line is creeping up into Indiana. You get up into Thursday, and now it's well into Indiana, and the 594 is getting close. And then we move on, and we get into next weekend. This is next Saturday. And 594 is well up in here, and there we go. I keep clicking past this a little bit, but the European's not as strong with this 597. The GFS wants to crank it way up in here in early August. This is up to only goes up to July 31st next Saturday. I think this is a little more likely in what we're going to be looking at, but still, that is low to mid 90s possibly by next weekend. So we'll take a real quick look. I'm letting this video go a little too long. We're going to take a very quick look at a close-up here of total rainfall. And of course, you can't take this verbatim. What you're looking for is just the idea. This is the GFS through here. It comes on Sunday. It brings in a decent, maybe 2 to 3 tenths of rain. I think some of these heavier amounts could be possible anywhere under the right cell, but in general, if we get lucky, we could pick up a quarter inch of rain or so. Then we don't really see anything through most of the week. Then we hit next Thursday into Friday. The GFS is actually keeps the rain next weekend or end of next week to our northwest or northeast. And it doesn't really give us a good chance until the very, very end of the run. And even at that, it's still, this is the 12Z. That's why it's so different. I lose track of that sometimes on pivotal weather. When you switch from one model to the other, you got to remember to switch the times back. So let's go. Here we go. This is more what I was expecting. Through the entire 16 days through August 7th, it's giving us about 2.5 inches of rain total, but most of that it doesn't put in until the very end of it, around August 5th, August 6th. So that's still a long way out. Got time to fail. So we'll see how it works out. I think it won't be this widespread. Some people will see 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of rain over the course of 16 days. 2.5 inches is probably about average, maybe a little above. But and we'll take a look at the European real quick. Again, the Euro only goes out 10 days. Again, these are just to give you ideas that in general we're going to be dry except for 1 or 2 events. We're getting into Sunday with the Euro, and it's not nearly as excited as the GFS is. It maybe only puts down a tenth or so. It's not nearly as aggressive with the patchy, heavier rain, and I think the Europeans probably on the right track with this. Again, I think if we get lucky, we might pick up a quarter of an inch or so. So then we get on into next week, and just absolutely nothing until we hit next Friday, and then finally the the Euro brings in some rain next Friday. I do think this is our best chance at widespread rain over the next 2 weeks. So we need to hope that that kind of hits, because we're going from a lot of rain to almost no rain, and we're getting into the time of year where a flash drought can happen, especially with the kind of heat that could be building. So I've run way longer than I wanted to, but I had maybe a little too much intro stuff. But I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what is kind of brewing. Again, we don't forecast by the models, but just using them as a visual to kind of show what could be possible. And what I'm really expecting, again, is some heat on Sunday, a slight regression, back toward normal. So maybe a little warmer than normal earlier in the week, and then mid next week, I expect us to crank back up. The forecast that I have, that I put on tonight was warmer than what most of the forecasts are. I'll go to that real quick. So, I forecasted warmer than most of the models for Wednesday and Thursday next week. I think we'll see those models come up to that, but again, I don't forecast by them anyway. Maybe a slight drop back on Friday with a front, and then we'll have to watch and see what happens at the end of next weekend into early the following week, where it could get just downright miserably hot. But there's a lot going on. There are a couple, like I said, there's some things going on with the MJO that could affect that. So it's too long out to worry about it too much. Just know it's possible. So with all that said, I hope you got something out of this. I hope doing these kind of videos, and I'll get better at them. Hope these will add some value that you find worth some of your money. So with all that, I thank all of you for making this page successful. And this is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Thank you.